Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you doing? Again, it's so glad to have you here. This is the first installment, the first episode, if you will, of what is considered to be called the Living Room Conversations. And again, I'm thankful to God for all of you who've decided to tap in and pull up, and likewise to come and to experience this altering of this Tuesday night. Usually it's Bible study, but tonight I felt at this particular time that we needed to have a conversation. And that's where it kind of was birthed of this, what's called the living room conversation. The living room conversation, as most of us know, if you grew up at home, the living room was a place where we actually would come, you would have your family meetings in there, you would sit down, you would have conversation, laughter, even as sometimes you eat some cereal, watching TV and dialoguing on whatever is on TV. But again, I want to take our time tonight and to begin this conversation on this first episode of this conversation as we talk about what's going on in this current times. Again, we are in the midst of not only a pandemic, but at the same time, we're in the midst of major shifts and changes. There is such a need, such a desire for change to happen. And we see so many people going out and they're protesting. And I'm giving big ups to everyone that is out there standing for the cause, standing for what is right, to try to eradicate white supremacy, to try to eradicate police brutality, try to eradicate all of what has come up against us as a people. And I felt it was needed for us to really come and have a discussion tonight. And I wanted to do it in what's called the living room conversations. I'm just excited. Again, we're in the midst of this month. It's June, and we need to talk. We just need to converse, and we need to talk. I'm excited tonight to have my sister with me. She is a wonderful, amazing woman of God. She's connected to the house called Unity. I appreciate her being here. Again, I'm thankful for her presence, and even as much as her joining me on tonight for the first episode. And again, I'm thankful for her. Amen. Y'all get put some clapping hands in those comments. Make sure she feels good. Make her feel comfortable. Again, we are thankful for her and all that she renders. Again, she is a wealth of information. She is a wise woman. She's doing some great things, and we're going to hear all about it. And then likewise, we're going to hear from her concerning a testimony that I believe that is really transitory in our own mindset. I'm telling you all right now, you might as well pull up a seat. You might as well go ahead and begin to share. Let them know the living room conversation is getting ready to happen, and because they don't want to miss it. Start a watch party right now. I'm going to give y'all some time to do that, give y'all an opportunity to do that. Go start a watch party. Go ahead and connect with somebody. Tell somebody. Get on the phone. Tell them, child, get on this line. Bishop and Monique is on the line talking some good talk. So I don't want y'all to miss this. Let's do this right now. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube as of yet, I want you to click that bell, subscribe to our YouTube so that you'll be able to be alerted when it is that we are going live on any context as it relates to the church. And then likewise, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and like our page. You might as well like it because you like us anyway. Amen. We like you, so like us. So again, we're excited about tonight. I'm thankful. What's up, Mo? How you feeling? How you feeling, Mo? You good?
Hey, Bishop, I'm good.
I've gotten her out of her comfort zone, y'all. Y'all got to understand, this is a major milestone as a pastor and a people. Again, I'm excited about her being here, and I thank you so much. I know your schedule is busy. I know your hectic schedule is always before you. And for you to take our time to really come and chat with me and share, I think this is very, very significant. Tell us about yourself. I know you're married. Come on, let's give it to Mr. Jackson. And
Hey, that's my social name.
that's
Y'all know me as Porter, but I'm a Jackson. Yes.
yeah. Tell us about it.
So many people who do know me know that I'm not very much into social media. I'm not into, the different ups and downs of what's going on. But when it concerns my community, it concerns my people, then I'm bothered. Yes. And I got to get involved and get active. I've been quiet for too long. Yeah. They done woke up a lioness. It's on and cracking now.
The lioness has awakened. Oh, my God.
I've always been woke, but I'm ready to get active.
Yes.
So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Monique Fordham Jackson. Yeah. First and foremost, I am a Christian.
Yes, good.
I'm a mother of two. Yes. I am a wife. Mm-hmm. I am an educator.
Yes, she is.
I am a Delta, a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Look at it go. The Reds is out.
I am, I am a social entrepreneur. That's what I call myself.
Gotcha.
And of course, a member of this Black community. I grew up in Watts Willowbrook, Compton, and South Central. I claim them all. That's my neighborhood. That's my community. That's where I come from.
I appreciate that. Now, you didn't tell me what church you go to. I know I said it. Yeah.
I am a proud member of Unity Church.
Yes.
That part.
Y'all better give it up. That's my
give it
member.
Up for Unity.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm excited again tonight to just really kind of dialogue. I mean, listen, I want us to just let our hair down and just really allow the conversation just to flow, just to be comfortable. How did you learn about Unity? I mean, how did you find out about the church?
So, growing up in Compton, I was baptized and married by Pastor Fisher.
Oh,
yeah. And when he retired, I retired.
Greater Zion. Well, Little Zion.
Zion.
At that time.
The original, right? And then, my family, we left the church when he retired. And my sister, Siobhan, and your wife, Shar, our line sister. So, I was visiting, various churches in the community, and I wanted to be in my community.
Yeah.
So I came to Unity, I want to say, for like 3 years before I actually joined.
So you dated
I dated,
the
man,
3
I dated.
years.
I dated Unity for 3 years. I did.
And that's good, though.
Yeah, and I didn't want anybody to tell me, when it was time for me. I knew when it was time for me. I knew it was going to be my home. But, you don't get into a marriage too easy.
No. You got to take some time.
It takes some time. So I felt from the very first time that Unity was a place for me. But I just needed to be okay with leaving my family at their church, and coming to do my own thing. So, and I've been at Unity ever since. I love Unity. Every Sunday, I'm that 8 o'clock person.
The 8 o'clock.
The 8 o'clock that show up at 9.
All the 8 o'clock folks, y'all need to give it up right now.
Shout out to my 8 a.m.
Y'all need to put 8 a.m. in the comments. Just say 8 a.m. is the best time. 10:30 is like, y'all late. 8 o'clock is when it's fresh off the press. But now, again, I thank God for you. Listen. We're in a major season. We've experienced a time of unrest. We saw at what began to be what they started off wanting to be the peaceful protests, but then the rage kind of came out. And I think that a lot of times people try to claim that to be, wrong. But when you've had something happen repeatedly, you first of all, the first emotion you're going to get is going to be some form of rage, some form of anger. Now, again, I understand what kind of happened later on. People started looting. That really had nothing. That had nothing to do with the George Floyd. Had nothing to do with anything that was taking place. But I understood for some, they were just really upset due to the fact that they hadn't made no moves on these police officers. They were almost like trying to just slap them on the wrist and give them a pass while another dead body laid in the street. And I know many have had so many responses and various thoughts in relation to that. And so many people was trying to convey their thoughts and convey what they felt. And some were slow to the draw, and we began to really stand up. And I just started seeing the Black people started to raise up and started to communicate like, look, either you gonna say something or you're gonna just let this you're gonna try to let this pass and slide underneath the rug again. But I think we got to a place that we were fed up. We were fed up with how we were being handled. We were fed up with how we were being treated. We were fed up on how people really did not consider us that we mattered. And so movement started happening and people started moving. I know from talking to you a little earlier, tell me a little bit as we segue into your story. Tell me a little bit about your family. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing, and then give me somewhat of a context of who were considered to be your brothers, but they're actually your cousins. Go into that story so that we can really hear that. I really want to know about that.
and I'm going to go into the story, but I just want to touch on what you said about how everybody was feeling.
Yeah.
We were doing temperature checks in the Black community. Everybody was feeling something different. You know, and it wasn't just this one incident.
No.
I think we were processing it, but we hadn't quite turned the page on the other young man, Ahmad.
Yeah, Ahmad, yeah.
And, you know, it was like, okay, we're trying to heal. We're trying to see what's going to happen with that. You know, let's stand back. Let's be cool. You know, let's keep it peaceful. And let's wait on justice. You know, in an unjust world, let's wait on justice. And I think for me, you know, Mother's Day was hard because of that child. I have a son.
Right.
So Mother's Day was a hard one for me. And then just a couple of weeks later, like we didn't have a chance to breathe.
Right.
Get your knee off my neck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so we didn't get a chance to breathe and process that. And don't get me wrong, it's been happening back to back, and we don't hear about everything as it's unfolding.
No, we don't hear all the details of every
But
every
those
situation.
two were the most recent, and it was just like tearing open the wound wider. It had not even begun to heal. So I felt like as a community, the rage, it boiled, it festered, and it manifested the way it did. I understand the anger. I felt that anger.
Yeah.
I felt that anger every time a Black child is killed by anyone.
Right.
By anyone. Any child.
Yeah.
You know, anybody's child. Because there's somebody's son, there's somebody's father, there's somebody's grandson, there's somebody's uncle or aunt. Like, we feel that every time as a community. It is a hit. It is a blow. It is one more day that they're telling us that our lives don't matter. So, you know, getting and segueing into my story, like I said, I grew up as a product of the Watts-Willowbrook area, Compton in LA.
Yeah.
I grew up with, my grandmother had 10 kids. All of us lived up and down the street from each other. But Granny's house was the hub. And if you guys know about the Black family, that matriarch,
Granny house.
We call her Queen Elizabeth.
Right.
She run the show.
Yeah.
And she's about to be 96. She's going to kill me for saying it. But she's going to be 96 in a couple of weeks. And she's seen a lot. In her 96 years, you know? Right. And I think the hardest thing for her to see is for her grandkids to live, you know, to not live past her.
Exactly.
And it was just one after another. So the first one, it started with David. It started with Derek. Derek was killed in Compton, drive-by shooting. You know, never any justice behind that, because we all know that when a Black man is killed, nothing happens. And they want to drag them through the media, their backgrounds. They're still somebody's child.
Now, what year, what time, around what time was this?
He died, actually, Teron died first. He died in 91, summer of 91, because we had just graduated from high school. So, actually, let me back the story up. Teron, the youngest one, we are seniors in high school. I was trying to get my prom money, so I was headed to Kentucky Fried Chicken on Imperial. And Western, across the street from Southwest.
You worked at KFC?
I was working at KFC giving out all free biscuits. I was giving all the free biscuits in the drive-thru. Okay? The homies come through, they got free biscuits. Right. And I asked my cousin, I said, hey, you know, take me to work. And he was in love with this girl. You know, I was like, okay, you in love. All right, I'm going to catch the bus. You know, I was mad at him. We didn't speak. And he wanted to take her Christmas shopping. She was pregnant with his first child. She was 14 or 15 years old. He was only 17. We both had just turned 17. Christmas break. I'm going to work. He going shopping. Wow. And he grabbed her and her sister, her older sister, and they were headed, I don't know, somewhere to go shopping. I think Compton Swap Meet, because he was in Linwood. That's where I'm thinking. Okay. My family has had years and years of watching police brutality. We grew up right in front of Carver Park. So the Linwood sheriffs would just come through there and just beat on people. We saw it every day. Wow. So, you know, most of us, we see the police, we all running. Girls, boys, grannies, everybody going in the house because you knew that they were coming to be entertained. And we were the entertainment, the neighborhood. So you just saw that. And that was before cameras and camera phones, and we didn't have all that.
We didn't have all that.
Right. So my cousin, he got scared. He ran. You know, he drove and they chased him, you know, high pursuit. Whenever you run from the police, we already know it ain't good. So according to his girlfriend, he got out the car with his hands up, and they shot him down. 17 years old, just turned 17. His birthday is in October, and that was December.
So you're telling me that he's running from the police because of what he already knows concerning the police,
Fear.
and fear. Yeah, exactly, fear. And he gets out the car. He's unarmed, and he has his hands up, and they shoot him.
They shot him several times, and they were mad. You know, when you run from the police, you piss them off. So they were mad. It was a high-speed chase.
Yeah.
They were upset that they had to chase him. But they have to chase you on foot or in a car. They getting out on 100. They're hot.
You're mad.
Yeah, but, you know, he's telling them, like, I'm unarmed. I don't have a gun. You know, who's going to have a gun with their baby mama in the car? Like, who are you going to rob?
Right.
So he get out, and she said they just shot him down like an animal. And the pictures that we saw in the LA Times, it was heartbreaking because they had hog-tied him. Now, mind you, he's bleeding. Y'all done shot him up. He dying. No medical help. They hog-tied him. Like his feet was tied to his hands. And they posed with their feet on his back like they had won like some big fish contest, or they had shot down some lion or some animal. And those are the pictures that my grandmother had to see. Okay, and we had to see as a family. And of course, you know, whenever the police do something, it's like, oh, they had a gun, or I feared for my life. It's always the same line, you know. Never found a gun, of course, because he didn't have one. And he wasn't going to rob anybody. But Teron loved his child. And from the womb, he never got to see her. Tyrone grew up, and she wanted to know about her dad. And I couldn't tell that story. I could only tell her the great things I knew of us growing up, like sitting in the front yard playing Voltron. We thought we were Transformers. That was my playmate. That was my brother. Like, we was trying to do the lines. Right. You know, I could only give her those stories.
Wow.
You know, I can only give her, you know, who he was as a person, not the animal that the police thought they were killing. And to this day, she has a void in her life because she's never met her father. And she just had her first baby.
So these police officers, they shoot him down, they hog tie him, and they pose with, as in a picture.
Like he's a trophy. Like he's a trophy.
And this was in the LA Times?
This was in the LA Times.
And grandma had to see that.
Grandma had to see that. To this day, like I said, my grandmother's 96 years old. You talking about the only picture on her nightstand is Teron's.
Wow. That's
the only picture. She got 30, 40 grandkids, great-grandkids. That ain't never healed. It hasn't. And, you know, his older brother, Derek, was killed in a drive-by maybe 6 months later in Compton on Acacia. His other brother in 2006 was about to get out of the county jail in Vegas. Knowing him, he probably was drunk or something like that. You know, it's Vegas. And he had wrote me and said, hey, cousin, I'm getting out December 6th. You know, I'm going to see you when I get home. And a friend of mine called me and was apologizing on the 6th. Now, the 6th was my daughter's birthday, too.
Yeah.
So he's calling and apologizing. I'm like, why are you apologizing to me? And then he just said, oh, my God, you haven't heard. And he was like, because he was supposed to go pick my cousin up. And I was like, nah, David should be, you know, home, you know, right now. And he was like, nah, they killed him. And I was like, wait, who dies on the day they're getting ready to get released? Like, that is unheard of. That is unheard of. And it was like a Sandra Bland type of situation.
Right.
Because it was no explanation. When we went, our family, we flew to Vegas. We got an autopsy done. He was badly beaten. He died from head trauma. Of course, you know, you can't take a deceased person over the county lines before they're embalmed. So we had to do all of that in Vegas, but we really wanted to do an investigation. So we kept flying back and forth to Vegas because I'm older now, I'm grown now.
Yeah.
And I got resources and I know how to find justice and be relentless. So we hired a lawyer. Now, mind you, none of the black lawyers, Johnny Cochran, none of them would touch it. None of them. Like, we went to all of the high profile because we like, this is too, you know, by the police. And, of course, the Las Vegas sheriff was like, we don't know what happened. We found him like that. And it wasn't like he was hanging or anything like that. Nothing in a cell. So, what did he do? Supposedly there was a tape that we never saw. We went to the FBI. We tried to open up a civil rights case. They said we didn't have enough evidence, because we didn't. But we just know he didn't kill himself, number one. And if he was in a cell by himself, then what happened? Only, certain people have access to that cell. So what happened? We fought it for years, and it just didn't go anywhere because, again, his life doesn't matter to the justice system. Black lives don't matter. It didn't matter that was my granny's third grandson. It didn't matter that was my uncle's third son. Like, nobody cared about that. So when I say this is deep, and every time I hear one of these stories, I'm sickened. But this time I moved to action. It was something different about this. It was something real different that moved in my spirit and was like, you woke, but you got to get active. You got to do something.
I mean, just hearing that, because again, now you have, as you stated, there is now 3 black men in prime age, young, haven't even stepped into the effulgence of life, have now been taken, one by drive-by, one who is getting ready to have a child and then is shot by the police, one getting ready to be released from the county in Vegas and passes away, no answer. So there's a lack of closure. There's like, almost like you're ripping the Band-Aid off of a wound. And then to come to the place now of not even just the recent things, but even beyond, from the time that has occurred and the lives that have been lost that we hear of due to law enforcement mishandling their authority. And you have to hear that. What's going through your mind when you hear about a Trayvon Martin, or you hear about, Ferguson, or you hear about, Sandra Bland? When you hear that, what happens to you in that particular moment? What goes on in your head?
Well, initially, I'm definitely triggered, and I'm thinking about my son, who's also named after Tehran. His middle name is Tehran. And I'm thinking about him.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about how can I protect him? And I just realized, like, I can't protect him no matter what I do, only thing I can do is pray and ask God to protect my son.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary. Like, I have my son FaceTiming me, like, every day. Like, show me your house, show me your bed, show me your kitchen. Like, I want to make sure that you are not in any danger. And I think because I try to shield him from the hood and what I grew up with, I don't think he fully understands my fear. It seems like it's, Mom, you're overreacting because I don't get in trouble and I don't drive certain cars and I don't hang out with anybody and I'm a college educated man, and why would they pull me over? And I had to explain to him, babe, it's the skin. It has nothing. They don't know who you are. They didn't know who they were. It is your skin. It is the fact that you are a black male and you are a threat, and they see you and I see you as an endangered species. Because you guys are being hunted by not only police, but white racists. So for me, in the 90s when I went to college, my thing was, go for criminal justice. You want to change something, change the system. And that's the way I did. So when I went to college, I got a degree in criminal justice. I was planning on being a lawyer.
Good.
Right. And then, of course, I had my first, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll go into law enforcement and just be an officer.
Yeah.
So, I went out and, trained with the sheriffs and trained with the LAPD, and then I was doing internships and the conversation. So this is like 92 while I'm in college. And it's conversations. I worked at the Sheriff Metro Station when they first built it right off the 105, like on Wilmington in Imperial. As soon as they built the train, they built the metro station, and it was like a substation for the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And I worked there, and I was like clerking, so I was entering tickets and stuff like that into the system. So, you know, they would talk freely. Wow. And this is the time of the 92 riots, like literally.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, that station faces Nickerson Garden. They would have full conversations, and I hate to say this, but I have to say the way it was said. Mm-hmm. These niggas ain't killing each other right now. This is what the sheriffs was saying. With me as a black girl, so there's sitting right there.
Because there is no chaos, they need to have something stirred up.
Oh, and they did stir it up. They would go over there and shoot up the Peace Treaty Party. So, you know, in 92, the Bloods, the Crips, the Grapes, everybody came out, and it was a party every night, and I was going to the party after work. Right. So it was going down. Right. And I would call to my little friends, because we didn't have beepers and cell phones back then, and I would tell them they getting ready to come shoot up the party and make you think the bounty hunters did it.
Wow.
I heard them plot this.
Wow.
And they plotted something almost every day that Peace Treaty, it was getting under their skin that black people were getting along, that there was peace. There was peace in the hood. And imagine me, I'm probably 19, maybe 20 at that time.
Okay.
I had the trauma of 3 cousins. I see them and what they do to my community. I want to go into law enforcement because I feel like I can change it. You know, I had to redirect. Yeah. So then I said, okay, well, let me do probations. Maybe I could rehabilitate the brothers once they get out of jail. So I said, I can't do the sheriffs and I can't do the LAPD. So I shifted to probations. And I was working with probation officers. Mind you, I don't have no gun. I'm 4'11". I probably was 100 pounds.
You 4'11"?
Don't tell nobody, Bishop. I mean, I'm 5'2".
You told everybody that.
No, I forgot. I'm online. Thought we was just talking.
We just talking.
I'm 5'2". Probably 100 pounds. I'm working with the probation officers. Yeah. But the crazy part is, y'all got me chasing down people I know. So I'm chasing down people I know, and you know, they not really resisting because they know me. Yeah. But it's crazy. So they moved me from the Compton courthouse probations, then they moved me to Watts. I'm like, well, I went to Locke. I know them too.
Wow.
I know them too. So then they put me in the office, and I said, office work is not for me. So, you know, I had to rethink that. And while I was doing that, I was also a teacher assistant in South Central at Charles Drew Middle School. And never wanted to be a teacher, never thought it was in my path. And the principal sat me down one year and she said, okay, you can ready to graduate from college. You know, what you want to do? And I said, I want to go into, you know, probations. And I was already second guessing probations. Right. But she was like, well, why do you want to go into probations? I said, because I want to rehabilitate people. You know, once they get out, I want to get them on the right track. I don't feel like it's enough resources. I don't feel like probation officers really work with them or for them. So I had that passion because all my cousins was felons and all of that. So I was trying to help my people.
Yeah, you're trying to make a change.
Exactly. Yeah. So she sat me down and had this why question, and I had to rethink because she said, why would you want to get them after they're in trouble when you can have an impact as an educator before they even get in trouble, and you can prevent that? So that question changed my life, and that's how I went into teaching.
The impact that you can have before they get to that place comes by way of education. And absolutely, what I love about that is the fact that you actually put yourself in a space to cause you to actually be a motivator, encourager, a change agent in the life of those. And what I also love is the fact that because of where you come from and where you've been and how you have trekked through the streets and did what you did, you now have, you coming into that spot, being that teacher, I'm not speaking based only on what how can I put it, what I've experienced here, but now I got my education, I got hood smarts, and I've married the two together. So I'm gonna give you a real true picture of what it's supposed to look like as a black woman with power, and you as a young black man and young black girl what you all can mount to be if you just, I know where you are, but not letting the context of where you are define the future that you can have. You know, I think that's very powerful because again, probation is after they've done. Probation is after, after the issue or after the situation. It's the afterthought. So now you're trying to rehabilitate somebody and then actually trying to trying to detox them of what they've already been in and then infuse them with what you can have, where you chose to say, let me start early, whether they are turnkey children, whatever it is, they're dealing with what they're dealing with. I'm gonna make sure that they get to this place first. So by the time they get to where they make those decisions, they gonna remember, Miss Monique and what she said to me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very, very significant. That's encouragement. I mean, what would you, what are your conversations that you have with your children in your classrooms? What do you do intentionally to really, take that classroom space moment, if you will, and really infuse and because again, I don't think education, and I'm taking this quote, I don't know the lady name, I think education is more of an indoctrination versus education. I think they try to maybe sway your thinking, sway your teaching. They think that Black history begins with the Civil Rights Movement. You know what I mean? And so you're saying, let me give you this. Let me give you the real. So what's your efforts on that? And I know, don't go into the other part though. I know the other part about what the teachers. We're gonna get there. Save that one. Just give me what you tell your children first. Tell me that.
Okay, so the real 95.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Charles Drew Middle School.
Yeah.
Firestone and Compton Avenue.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm over there with my little 7th and 8th graders. And mind you, I'm only like 21 myself.
Okay.
And I'm giving it to them real and raw because that's all I know. I wasn't polished yet.
Okay.
So that's all I know. And I'm telling them that what my mom told me is that education is the key. You want to get out this hood, you want to get out of poverty, you want to have something, you want to live like the white people, then you need your education because you're not a superstar. Mm-hmm. You have no gifts in that sense. Right? You don't play ball.
Right.
So the only thing you got, and even them, if they get hurt, they don't even have that to fall on. So, every little Black boy in the hood want to be Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Or Kobe or Shaq or whoever it was at that time. Mm-hmm. And every little Black girl saw herself on TV being a model. Mm-hmm. And I told them that's not our story. Mm-hmm. That's not going to help you. Yeah. Because you can lose looks and you could get hurt. Then what do you have at the end of the day? Yeah. So I taught middle school for a number of years and I gave it to my kids raw. I gave them real life lessons. They went to the store, they saw me because that was my neighborhood. Yeah. They mamas knew me. I went to high school with their parents. Right. So, I could beat them home if they did something in my classroom. Mm-hmm. I'd be sitting on the porch, Miss Fordham, what you doing here? Oh, remember in 6th period you did? Right. Oh, okay. Well, me and your daddy, we talking about it right now. I wouldn't I was one of those teachers. I'll show up at your house and I'll beat you home.
But that's good though.
Yeah, and they knew.
And we don't have that no more.
No.
It's distant. It's segregated. It's separate. It's okay. Here's your lesson. I'm done. I'm
go over there and be quiet.
Yeah. Exactly. Stay away. But the community is lacking community.
Absolutely.
I think even the policing isn't policing anymore.
Amen,
Nobody's
Bishop.
coming in to bring together. It should have been. I can recall even I've had conversations with guys who said, man, I remember police would pick me up. Instead of taking me to jail, they'll take me to my house because they knew where I lived and they knew my mama because they went to school with them. And they was like, look, Junior been acting up. Get him. Look, I could have took him in. He did this, but that's something that we need, that we lack, though.
Well, let me speak on that.
Okay.
So when we grew up, right, and I'm not saying it was the best way.
Yeah.
But if you did something, 3 people on the block would get to you before your mama did. Okay, so that's one. We respected our elders. We respected our community.
There was no respect for elders now.
And there's no respect. I mean, you saw police officers push a 75-year-old man down. Black, white, green, or orange, that is an elder.
Yes.
And there was no respect for that man.
No respect.
So we don't have that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I call them millennial moms. We have these millennial moms, but you can't say that to my kid. Why you talking to my kid? That's my kid.
Right.
I do this for my kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that part. So they not listening.
Yeah.
So then if the kids...
Fortnite is raising them.
Yeah, now remember, our parents taught us that if the teacher tell me something about you before you tell me something about you, it's really on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, don't let the teacher tell me nothing about mine.
Right.
So you had the neighborhood get you.
Said, don't embarrass me.
Don't embarrass me. And my mama was the queen of embarrassment.
You embarrass me out there.
You embarrass her, she was coming to the school to embarrass you. So Sandra Reese is no joke, y'all. My mama a legend in Compton. Yeah. Trust. She got kicked out the senior citizen place at Dollar High because she still acted a fool.
God, Lord
she got suspended. Okay, at 70.
At 70?
At 70, for real. This is the true story. I come from one of them families.
Oh my God.
Right?
How you get kicked out of Dollar?
Okay, she's gonna fight. The old man. So, you know, we had a community. Our grandparents, you know, our parents. I grew up in a house with my grandmother where if my grandmother said something, I don't care how much my cousins did in the streets, let Granny open her mouth.
Yeah.
You gonna move.
Yeah.
And you gonna move real fast.
Yes.
And if you don't move, you got 10 uncles and aunties there waiting on you. So they took that away. Okay. So they said, black people, you cannot punish your children. That is child abuse. But the police can shoot them down in the street. So our moms was trying to save us, and I'm not saying corporal punishment is the way. I'm not saying that. But what rights do parents have, right? Yeah. What can a teacher do other than redirect the kid, right? Because there's no suspensions, there's no this, there's no that. Let's talk about it. These kids is laughing at us talking at them. They tell us, you guys, all y'all do is talk. And I'm not saying that punishment is the answer. But the talking is not enough when there's nothing behind it or nothing meaningful with it.
I think a level of misunderstanding where we only look at it from that one standpoint. But here's one key word that we all have been, not all of us now, but I'm just saying currently this time, we run away from. Nobody wants to be corrected. Correction is an issue with people. I mean, I could take it in my context as it relates to church. Everybody want to call it church hurt, but it ain't church hurt. It was just church correction. You know, I was correcting you for you not to do what is not allowed here. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want correction. We don't want nobody saying anything. We don't want nobody communicating anything. We are in a time, as the book of Judges claims, that everybody do what is right in their own eyesight. That's where we find ourselves, that everybody's doing what they feel is right in their own eyes. But you may just, you know, the Bible says there's a way that seems right unto man, but the end thereof is destruction. So here it is. We're trying to bring them and make sure they don't destroy themselves, but you can't tell them nothing. You can't communicate anything to them without them giving you some back lip or giving you some clap back or trying to tell you what you can and cannot do to them.
Or say to them.
Right, or say to them. So the question still comes down to the place of like, okay, so what do we do? What space are we in? You know, we could fight, we could protest, we can raise our fists, we can do all of that. But then even when they continue to see others who are in authority and they don't get corrected, why should I be corrected? Why should I? You know, it's a challenge. And this is my mind. I'm trying to figure this out.
Well, we know America does not practice what they preach, right?
No.
So we know they fought.
Yeah.
And our people fought with them in the 1700s for their rights,
right?
For all men to be created equal.
Yeah.
But we was 3/5 of a man, right? I can't correct my child because it's child abuse, but you could kill him, right? We don't have community no more. That's the problem.
We don't have no community.
I don't know my neighbors. They don't know me. They don't know what I do.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't have community. We don't have neighborhoods where The old people sit out on the porch. It ain't safe no more, too. That's another issue. But the old people sit out on the porch. They're watching what's going on in the community. You know, they communicate. They get together. They make things happen. Somebody can't pay their rent. We're going to have a rent party. You know, somebody kid need to go to college. Okay, we're going to do that. Somebody died. Let's have a fish fry. Like, we don't have that no more.
No.
That has been taken away. So the black community have to say, at some point, we need to build community. I can't talk about what Trump should be doing. I can't talk about what Newsom should be doing. What I can talk about right now is what the black community needs to do.
Yeah.
And we need to take control over our own destiny and stop waiting on somebody to come save us.
Yes.
I ain't never seen black people move so fast until they got that check, that stimulus check. I said, oh my God.
Got move quick.
Yes. We are motivated by the wrong things. We're worried about the number of likes and what I got on and what you got and what you drive and but you live with your mama. So we need to worry about that.
Exactly.
Where's your kids' college fund? Show me that.
Right.
Why your baby got Jordans on, but you didn't put that $100 in the college fund?
Talk.
So until we do right by our own, we can't talk about what other people is doing to us.
That's right.
We need to focus on ourselves right now.
Yeah. You
know how when you're on an airplane, I use this analogy a lot, where they say, hey, put your mask on first, then worry about the next person. You got to take care of yourself. In the black community, it's time to take care of ourselves. One way of that is education. It's not the only way. You know, I have a whole list of things that I feel we need to do as a community.
Well, let's tackle some of that a little bit. What would be some of the things that you feel that we as a community, or even likewise we as a church, where do you think it starts? Because again, after the protest is over, usually after a few weeks go by, we go right back into the fake normalcy. I was getting ready to say something else, but you saved me. But again, we go back into this whole mindset and mentality. What is it that, again, I don't feel that we should have gone through this COVID-19, this quarantine. I'm real big on this, and even go through the whole protesting and then come out and just go back to doing what we do normally until the next hashtag name pops up. What do you feel should be, what's the action step in your mind that you say, oh, listen, we need to do this, or this needs to take place? I mean,
okay, Bishop, don't get me wrong. I'm no social activist, right?
Gotcha.
But I'm going to study this thing. If college didn't teach me nothing else, it taught me how to read and think.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm going to think myself out of this and just, being retrospective and reflective and trying to figure this thing out, because I called you. And I'm like, Bishop, we need to do something. I don't know what that something is, but we need to do something.
Right.
So I started thinking about what my mom's generation did and what the generations before them did. And I saw a call to action by the church and by the young people. So it was the young college students, like our Black Lives Matter, the SNCC and all of them, Black Panthers, all of them were college students. But I also saw the Dr. King joining in with Malcolm X at some point. They didn't get along originally, I know that. But they start seeing that there's a common goal, and the common goal is our people. So we need to come up with a way to work together, because divided, we can't do anything. So I think from a religious point of view, or from a community point of view, I'm always say, I don't care how far you stray away from the church, God is in you. 99.9% of black people was raised in somebody's church.
Yes.
So it starts there. And I know the millennials don't really listen to us. I know that. They're not listening on the streets. They're not listening at home. I got a house full of millennials. So I trust. I know. But I think it starts at home with your parents, right? Your parent, your grandparents, whoever is at home. It starts with the way we raise our children. And we have to teach our kids their own history. We can't expect the school to do it. And if they know and are empowered about what their people have done, I don't even think black people know that Benjamin Banneker designed that whole DC area, the White House, a black man.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Our kids don't even know that history. We're not even talking about the kings and queens in Africa. We got to teach our kids, because when is it taught in school? So if you don't have teachers that are socially conscious, we have this thing called culturally responsive teaching and learning. As a black teacher, I've always been culturally responsive teaching and learning. I should have wrote the book. I'm a little I'm hating a little bit because we've been doing that. As a black teacher, I knew my kids didn't know this. So yes, I taught The Scarlet Letter, but I also taught Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I also taught Black Boy by Richard Wright. I also taught Malcolm X speeches, and anytime I can get it in, I got it in.
Right.
So I wanted my students to know that this is your history. These are your people. And what you see on TV is not us. Those are facades.
Have you ever had a fight with your teachers to try to get them to teach this information?
I taught at King Drew. No, I didn't, because we was woke. My colleagues, shout out to my colleagues at KD, one of the best, high schools in Compton and Watts. Yes, we were in the hood, but we were that diamond in the rough. You better know that King Drew legacy is real. I'm at a new school now, and they woke too.
Good.
They are woke too. I shout out to my Cats family because they are woke too. So I feel like it starts at home, then it moves into the community and the church. And I think the church is our centerpiece, right?
Yes.
That's who grounds us because the church has several generations. Our grandmama's sitting in there. You know what I mean? Our mothers are sitting in there. Our children are sitting in there. So you're reaching several generations right there. And I don't think that any child is going to disrespect a preacher. I just don't. I think that any preacher can sit down, because I know that's what they did in 92. It was the pastors and the preachers that sat down with the Bloods and the Crips and facilitated that peace treaty. So I think that they will follow us, but we have to, research and find what direction we want to go in and who we support and do our research too.
I think that's amazing. It's so powerful, even just to hear from you. I mean, a lot of times we, I see you and don't know all of this is in the 4'11" height. But again, I want to jump back to something real quick, and it's really based on your story, and then we'll segue to come on out and let these good people go ahead and get rest for their next day. Were the police officers ever convicted for what they did to your cousins?
Nothing. Just like now, they don't, mind you, we didn't have video back then. But just like now, there's no charges. It's always an investigation. There's an ongoing investigation. The police can take as long as they want to on an investigation. That goes on for years. So, nothing happened, no.
So if what you see and what you've heard, and it clearly shows the injustice in the justice system, the pain of that, the agony of that, it stirred in you as it relates to all of these things that just occurred. You went with the Peace March on this past weekend in Compton, and it's driving you. And now you're saying, I sense there is a need for a change. And as much as we are woke, what I'm loving that I'm hearing from you, and as well as what I'm seeing from others, is the fact that we're actually rising up now and standing up and being strong and saying, listen, no, we're going to be heard, and we're not going to sit back and just allow this just to continue to happen, because the agony of this is downright hurtful. It's to the point, as I stated on Sunday, you can't take anymore. I mean, it's
tired of being tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, you're fed up, and it's a change needs to happen. And what I want the church to know, and as well as let Monique know, that tonight, those that are sowing, again, as you sow and as you communicate, as you give tonight, I know some are giving their tithes, some are giving offerings and all of that. I really appreciate that. I want you to do that because we need to maintain. We got some stuff to finish with the church, and y'all are helping it make it happen. But also, there are some proceeds that are being donated, a substantial amount that's being donated to two particular foundations. One being Black Lives Matter, whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence that's inflicted on the Black communities by the state and even beyond that. Colin Kaepernick, which is my frat brother, is called the Know Your Rights Camp. We're also so into that. Their mission is to advance liberation and well-being of Black and brown communities through education, self-empowerment, mass mobilization, and the creation of new systems that will elevate the next generation of change leaders. I'm excited about this because I understand protests, and we need to do that. But at the end of the day, money moves this earth, and money is really what's going to be needed to actually take care of this. And these particular foundations, I know, are giving seeds and funds to those protesters alike who have they themselves been incarcerated due to the fact of their protests. This helps them out with their legal fees. And so I wanted to direct some funds that way to show forth Unity's allegiance to eradicating this injustice and stepping into the to the room and even trying to position ourselves to have a seat at the table.
Not have a seat at the table. We own the table.
We own the table.
Stop asking for the seat.
Okay, own it. We own the table. You heard Monique say we own the table. So we owning this table. It's Black table. We're going to own it. It's ours. And I believe in that. And I'm really, really with that. Because, again, I think that if we do take ownership, and again, one of the things I also want to highlight, too, I don't want to walk past this, because you are a small business owner and a black owner. What's your take on really the support of small Black-owned businesses? I mean, do you feel that that's a need? Do you feel like we need to be pushing that? What's that?
So definitely, as a Black woman, it was hard for even family members to get behind me. You know what I mean? So asking a bank, going to Wells Fargo, getting a no. Going to, Bank of America, getting a no, trying to get a commercial loan. I needed a loan for $2.3 million.
Okay.
To buy a business, very profitable business. And I knew people who had it, but they just weren't willing to believe in me that I could do it. So when I did it by myself, people was in their feelings. Because I said, you know what, let me stop trying to go to these traditional banks, right? Let me do something different.
Yeah.
So I went to a brokerage. I spoke to a vice president, white guy. He said, you know what? Come holler at me. Lead this meeting. Because all Wells Fargo was doing was just prolonging it. He's like, lead this meeting. I don't want you to lose your deal. Leave this meeting, and we get ready to work something out. And not only that, the founders of that business fronted me $350,000.
Wow.
Because they didn't want to see anybody else with their Black business. And they knew that I had always came through for them if they wanted me to write a grant, or if they wanted me to run this program, if they wanted me to, I always did it for them, never thinking ever that I would take on their business when they decided to retire.
Wow.
I needed a $500,000 down payment. They gave me $350 of it.
Jesus.
Exactly. A Black couple from Compton.
Wow.
Okay. So let's say that. Let me speak something else real quick, and I know we got to go. But one of the things that wasn't taught to us, because our parents didn't know no better, they said go get an education and then go get a good job.
Yeah.
We teaching our kids, go get an education, but start your own business. I don't want you working for anybody. So people criticized me because my kids had these, you know how much Hampton costs. Yeah. And these business degrees, and I didn't make them go get jobs. I said no. The thing is, I got money. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to create generational wealth. And I don't want you caught up in a system that you feel enslaved to because you want a pension in 30 years. Right? When you could have made that in 1 year. Right? So I'm teaching my children to be entrepreneurs. And that's the goal. I don't care what nobody say. Can't nobody tell me about mine. My mom didn't know no better to teach me that. But I know better. So I taught my kids to be entrepreneurs. I teach my students to be entrepreneurs. I don't care if you selling ice, shaved ice on the corner. It's your business.
It's your business.
And mind you, we already have a lot of entrepreneurs. How many kids sell chips at school? Okay? And I ain't mad at them. I just tell them we going to open the after school club.
I was slinging blow pops.
Yeah, like for real. I used to sell Michael Jackson buttons. What? In the 80s. You know? Yeah. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit.
That's good.
But that's what I'm imparting to my kids.
Yeah.
Not go run. And, you know, we had this whole conversation because you know how when they go through their 20s, you know, I want this car and I want that. And I want this, and I want that. I said, you know what? That BMW can wait. Go own a house. Matter of fact, don't buy a house. Buy some units.
That's right.
Buy some units. Forget a house.
Yes.
Get some units. So I'm telling my kids, when they graduated from college, I put some money in their bank account to start their business. You know what I mean? So those are things we need to do. And don't get me wrong, when I was young, my kids had the Jordans and the gold chains and all of that. But I had to grow out of that.
Yeah.
I had to grow out of that, and I started putting it in a 529 plan. Y'all know what that is? That's a college fund. And that little $25, you're not missing. You're not missing it. So you have to instill this in your kids. And our kids, we have to build resilience because they have this thing that if they fall, they just lay on the ground and they look. Well, our generation, when we fell on the ground, we better hurry up and got back up.
Right.
Because your parent was going to snatch you up. Like, what are you crying for? You hurt. Get up.
Get up.
You know?
Get up on
these
that
millennials, they roll on the ground for a while. You know, I can talk about millennials all day because I got a house full. The other thing as a black community I feel like we need to do is recycle black dollars, right? So like you said, I am a black business owner.
Yes.
I had people hating on me in the nail shop, into this, into that. I tell people every day, I go to work every day. I could care less. They talked about Jesus. I could care less what you say about me and what I do. Nobody knows what I do for my community because I ain't one of those that got to post everything. You ain't got to know that. But just know that you need to put your money back in a black business.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I'm kind of upset about is this whole idea of the 4th of July. And don't get me wrong, we all grew up, that was our favorite holiday because of the barbecue and the fireworks. But we ain't free. So why are we going to celebrate them? You better celebrate Juneteenth. That's what you better celebrate.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't know why TI is on the 7th. Maybe I'm missing something. But we need to black out on the 4th. What would America do if all black people, all people of color said, I ain't going to work? What would they do? Since our lives don't matter. That's my question. What if we had a day of absence that everybody just called off?
Right.
And just said, you know what, I need time to reflect. I'm dealing with my trauma. I need a mental health day.
Right.
Another black person just got killed. I got to process that. I can't come to work today. What would America do if all black people...
They would be impacted by it.
They would.
They'll be impacted by it. Because again, I think when we protest economically, we make a major dent in what it is that America, because you don't know, black folks are consumers all day long. And when we stop doing something, especially in the economy, when we just say, okay,
think about the bus boycott.
Yeah, because the bus
shut down a whole city.
Because they understood that was money for them. And they were the main ones that was on the buses. But you putting them all the way to the back. Okay, so
dear black people, stop paying for stuff that people don't care about you.
Please.
We're Starbucks. We're all these companies that we support and we give all this money to. Where they at right now? Posting a statement? Like, where are they?
Yeah.
So outside of recycling our black dollars and seeking out black businesses and looking for black banks, we need to vote and we need to lobby. Voting is not enough. I'm so tired of brothers talking about it's the primaries. It don't make a difference. My vote, what is it going to do? Because you're voting for your judges. You're voting for your sheriff. You're voting at the local level, and that's impacting those police forces. That's impacting those policies and procedures that are being made in your community.
Right. That's right.
And last and not least is we need to raise our kids and stop letting social media and TikTok and all that mess, TV, raise our kids. Set their butts down with a book.
Right.
Teach them their history. Take some time with your kids and put your phone away. Have a reading hour every day.
That's right.
Teach them about themselves. The teachers can't do everything. Like, I cannot be the
Quarantine
counselor, the police.
Quarantine has taught them that.
Yeah, like all that. Yeah. Like, I can't do everything. Yeah. The parents, y'all feeling it? We got a hard job, don't we? You want your kids back? So next time I call you, you better get up to that school.
This has been amazing, y'all. Y'all put some clapping hands in the comments. We are thankful for Monique, and this has been a great conversation. Again, these are things that I believe is very significant. I want you to continue. Listen, again, I want you to pay your tithes. I want you to give your offerings. But at the same time, those of you that are giving a donation towards what it is that we are giving those foundations, please make sure you sow it to Unity. We're going to send one check on up. But again, I thank God for every last one of you tuning in. I thank you, Monique, for coming and sharing, offering your wisdom and your knowledge. Again, it is an amazing, amazing time. I'm looking forward to more conversations and more things. Y'all gonna see more of her more often. I done pulled her in front of the camera now, so she cannot hide anymore. Y'all tell her in the comments, say, don't hide no more. Put in there, do not hide anymore. But again, we are thankful for all of you tuning in. This was just a living room conversation, and I'm going to have more of these. Again, I believe it's very significant. I think we just need to hear. Sometimes we preach, we teach, we get all that, but sometimes we just need to converse and really just kind of expound a little bit on what it is that is significant for our present time and what we're going through. Again, I thank God for all of you tuning in. Listen, please pay your tithes. Please give an offering. Please make sure you partner with us as we donate to Know Your Rights Camp and likewise to Black Lives Matter. But likewise, I'm just so excited about this opportunity and this privilege. Anything else you want to say before I pray? No, you're good? No, now you want to be shy? No. Let's pray. Father, I thank you for your power, your strength. I thank you, God, for your woman of God and all that you have upon her life. Father, I pray that you'll continue to bless us holistically, completely. Let us realize, God, that you are more powerful than the decisions that this world is trying to make. Father, I thank you right now that you, by way of your power and even by way of us being your people, if we stand up for your name's sake, we can change this entire world. Father, I thank you now that you're gracing us with more. Bless those who are sacrificing. Bless those who are giving. Bless those who are continuing to fight the fight and keep the faith. I pray, God, for justice. God, I pray for even George Floyd's family. Oh, God, to all those who have been lost, their families, that you continue, God, to undergird them. Put in their hearts to let them know that you're still significant, that you are still there for them. God, that you've never left them, nor will you forsake them. We give you glory, God, tonight for what it is that's been said and done. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. Listen, don't miss Sunday morning, 9:30. Looking forward to a great time and a great word. We appreciate you so much for tuning in tonight. This is Bishop Withers, and this is Monique. We thank God for you coming in and sharing with us in our living room. Amen. God bless you all.